U.S. is walking the same path to collapse and that many of the fallen empires once strode through. And that's the damning assessment of Washington's current financial state of play by a prominent British scholar and economist.
Any great power that spends more on debt service, interest payments on the national debt, than on defense will not stay great for very long. True of Habsburg Spain, true of Ancien Regime France, true of the Ottoman Empire, true of the British Empire. This law is about to be put to the test by the U.S. beginning this very year. The U.S. fiscal policy is on a completely unsustainable path.
All right, that was by Neil Ferguson there. Let's take a look at the numbers here. I'm going to break them down for you to see. The U.S. Congressional Budget Office itself predicts a bad ending for the American economic policy. As you can see on the screen right now, this year, net interest spending is set to surpass military expenditure by almost $50 billion. Long-term predictions are no more positive for Washington. By 2034, the figures right there, analysts forecast a 1.5% gap, which is itself $500 billion from the difference you can see right here. Now, that's not all. The International Monetary Fund has almost published dire economic predictions. Now, the country's fiscal deficit is predicted to exceed about 7% next year, and that's a figure right here. Now, while that may sound small, it equates to about $1 trillion. The International Monetary Fund says that poses significant risk for the global economy. And the second figure that you can see here shows the U.S. debt. It has surpassed 35%, and that's more than $10 trillion, which in other terms is 6 times the size of the UK's entire GDP. And then the long-term predictions that we can see here is also making grim readings. In 3 decades, the gap is expected to reach about 66%, or almost $20 trillion. Now, geopolitical expert Eddie Smith believes that the so-called American empire is on a rapid decline.
The weapons industry and the weapons lobby is making tons of money from Ukraine. So it's in their interest for the government to basically give them another stipend of money by purchasing more weapons for Ukraine. And it's in the interest of the neocons and the neoliberals in the U.S. State Department who have been behind this Ukraine policy from the beginning. It's been something that the Democrats and folks like Victoria Nuland have been pushing for a long time. People have been predicting the collapse of the West and the Western Empire for a long time. And I mean, it is inevitable throughout history. Empires rise and fall, and the U.S. is no different. And you see the signs of an empire in decay. 80% of our people living paycheck to paycheck while the entire country is drowning in debt. The richest people in society are the big banks and the multinational corporations that all of the working people owe their debt to. And the government doesn't seem interested in doing anything about it. They only seem interested in pumping more money into the military-industrial complex and more foreign wars.